Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Anet. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Anet. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Anet.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet, where your host, Anet Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need a net? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Great afternoon. Welcome, guys. Come on in. Come on in. It's your girl, Anet Harris. I am the host of Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet, brought to you by Get Caught Internet Incorporated, of which I am CEO. I am also your certified positive mental health ambassador and award-winning author of Surviving the Silence Heartbeat. Listen, I'm encouraging you to come on in. What do I say at 12 noon on Wednesday? If you see my face, it is time for you to come on and get caught in a net. Before we go further, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for what you've done, what you're going to do, how you're blessing and helping and encouraging us. In everything we go to say and do, we want you to be glorified. In Jesus' name we pray. The opening part of Hosea 4:6 states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we're excited to be here on this afternoon, another Wednesday. And it is the first Wednesday of, am I right? Yeah, the first Wednesday of February. And we started Black History Month 7 days ago. So we are trying to highlight individuals, Black Americans, local, and those who are doing great things. And so many of you probably saw that originally I had one particular guest scheduled for today. And due to unforeseen circumstances, we have to reschedule her. But God always gives you a ram in the bush. Okay. All right. So you have to believe that. And this wonderful individual, you actually met her back in October of last year. And so we had her on because we were featuring various authors that were affiliated with Distinguished Authors Guild. And so she was a part of a series of interviews. So I had her on for at least, well, we had her scheduled for 30 minutes, but this young lady, I'm going to talk about her because she is such a sweetheart. She hopped on to watch the interviews, which was perfect because one of my interviewees did not show up, and I was able to signal to her, hey, y'all didn't know what was going on, but I'm telling you now. I signaled, I said, can you hop on early? And she did just that. And I'm like, I like her. Yeah, she's good. She's good. And so you met her back then, and we were talking about her novels. She's written a number of them. She's an award-winning novelist. She's a romance junkie. I'm going to let her talk about herself, but I'm going to bring on this beautiful woman. Is she ready? Is she ready? Is she ready? She know what I'm talking about. I'm going to bring her on. Natalie Murphy is our ram in the bush on today. So she's coming in, but I wanted to have her on anyway. And God just worked things out where we're bringing her on today. Natalie.
I'm ready.
She ready. When she and I get together, right, she ready. we just crack up. We have a good time. We were able to meet each other in person in November, even though we had her on the show in October. And she's been a jewel. She has been a jewel. And I appreciate how God uses and blesses her. We each have our own areas and our own platforms where God can be glorified. And hers, we're going to talk today, is in the area of romance. Okay, so we're going to talk to her today. She's got a mini book tour coming up. And I'm excited for her because she's laughing. I know why she's laughing. I'm excited for her though, seriously, because she's doing some great things. And not only I won't even say that it's for herself. She's doing it for other people. And so we're going to get into talking about that on today and what she has coming up. But first, I already stated that you were first our guest in October, and our Authors Unite to Get Caught in the Net we're featuring the DAG authors. But I want you to do me a favor. I want you to introduce yourself again. Tell people who you are, and in your own words, who is Natalie R. Murphy?
Okay, well, thank you for having me again, Annette. Yes, we did have a lot of fun. It was a pleasure meeting you at the DAG Awards as well, even though we were like those two little kids that sit in the corner at school and get in trouble because they talking about everybody that walked past. That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah. I think it was our nerves. I don't know. Maybe it was probably my nerves, but go ahead.
Well, as you said, my name is Natalie R. Murphy, and I am a romance novelist. I want to change the R in my name from what it really is to romance junkie, but I think my mom would have a fit. Since the last time I've been on this show, I have become a 3-time Distinguished Authors Guild Award winner in the romance category. My book, Love Beyond the Waves, won the DAG Award. And since then, I've completed my 7th romance novel, To Be Loved by Blue. This one you can purchase it on my website, netsbooks.net. And I'm currently working on romance novel number 8. So I'm excited about that. That one, I don't have a name because the characters keep taking over and telling me my stuff not good enough. So they rewriting the whole story and they retitling. So I just got to see what they the boss. I got to see what they tell me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're not writing for yourself, so you have to hear the feedback. I get it.
Yeah,
I get
absolutely. And when you say I'm not writing for myself, you're right. I write romance novels because with everything that's happening in the world, we need some love. And this is my way of injecting love into the world. Gives you an opportunity to get away from reality for a minute, to step into a world where everything is happily ever after. And now it's a journey. It's not a smooth happily ever after, but it is a happily ever after. And one of the things my primary focus is to write about Black love and positive Black characters, because the light that's shed on us does not give a true depiction of who we are as a people. And Black people love, and we love hard. We have problems. We have successes. We have everything that everybody else has. So I want to focus on primarily Black characters. My characters, like I say, if they're not well-to-do, they're on the way to being well-to-do. And again, they have happily ever afters.
I love it. You know, the one you just put up, To Be Loved by Blue. I love that title.
Thank you.
And things for me, it has to catch my attention.
Absolutely.
And keep, my attention. But I love that title. But anyway, I want to let me do a little sidetrack here. So you say you can find your books where?
You can find them on my website at netsbooks.net.
natsbooks.net. Okay.
Yes.
So we want to make sure you guys, when you come in, as we're talking to this wonderful author on today, that you know where you can find her books, find and purchase her books. And I love that she has it all in one place where you won't miss it. So I do want to encourage you guys when you come in on today. I see some of you hopping in. If you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, clicking the heart, thumbs up, the care button. Also, you can tag individuals into this live feed and you can share. I do encourage you to share. Please share. I always tell you it costs you nothing to share this live feed. What you're doing, you're pushing this out. You're reminding individuals that we're on, and you're giving them an opportunity to meet this wonderful guest of mine. And I would really, really appreciate if you would do that. So we are on Facebook, Anet Get Caught in the Net. Also on Facebook, Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet. Those are the two pages on Facebook. And then we're live on Instagram at Get Caught in the Net and YouTube, Get Caught in the Net. At the end of this segment, we are going to have this session uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube channel. And so there'll be a variety of ways you can watch us either live or when we at the end. So consider the rebroadcast. So you cannot miss us. And I appreciate you for sharing and tagging individuals in on today. And if you have any questions for my guests as we're going along with this segment, I do encourage you to go ahead and throw it into the comment section. If you just want to say hi, if you want to say whatever, maybe you want to ask her something about being an author or a self-published author. You are able to do that on today as well. So let's jump right in. Thanks for introducing yourself again.
Sure.
And I just learned some things about her right before the show that I didn't really realize. She is a professional, and she didn't even say that. She's also a professional photographer. She's also a professional photographer. And I'm like, oh, really now? But she's a woman of many talents. But I think the one probably that jumps out the more for her is the fact of writing, being an author. And this is what she focuses on. Okay, so I heard, now let me stop. I read. Okay, we're going to be good with each other today. We're going to be good.
Okay.
So you
right.
penned, you already stated this, you penned and published 7 books already, right? And so you have the 8th one that is in progress for you. So you initially said, and this is what I read, that you had to be prodded by God to write.
I did. Yes.
You were fighting it.
I was. Because I had no idea of the writing industry. I knew I'd like to write. I knew I'd like to read, but I didn't know anything about how to write a professional book or story. I didn't know. I knew less than nothing about publishing. So when he said write the story, I was like, no, no, really? Because the other thing was, and Gina still teases me about this, I was more of a pip, not Gladys Knight. I wanted to be in the background, but writing this book was going to bring me forward, because now I have to get out there if I'm going to write a book to get people to buy it. I've got to start talking to people. I've got to be on interviews with Anet. So that was one thing. The other thing was, I didn't know how to type. Now, I'm old school. I like to write by hand, but when you're writing a book with 50,000 to 70,000 words, you're not getting ready to write that by hand.
No.
So I was like, I don't type, Lord. No, I'm not going to do this. But he wouldn't let it go. He would not let it go. So I finally decided, after about 3 weeks of fighting, which I don't know why I thought I was going to win. I sat down. I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to sit in front of this computer, but you're going to have to type with me because I don't know how to type. And me and my 3 fingers, we pecked until we had a complete story.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So I'm hearing a lot of things in that.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm like, wait a minute. So it really only took 3 weeks. The reason why I started laughing when you said that you were, rejecting the fact of him, God telling you to write, I did the same thing. But it took me longer. It was longer than 3 weeks for me to give in. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But but it sounds like, and from what you were saying, basically, is that your rejection to it wasn't necessarily you were looking at a lot of your hindrances, like the
Yes.
non-typing and, I got to be out here in front of people now type thing.
Yes.
So that's quite interesting that you were shying away from it because of your shortcomings, or I don't
Not
know.
because of my personality. My
Okay.
personality was not to be out front. I'm good being second. I'm good to, if I got a leader, I'm your best support person. I'm gonna back you up 100%. But I don't necessarily have to take the lead. I don't have to be in front. And I've always been like that.
Right.
But I know there are times when I have to step
Okay.
up, and I can do it for a short
Yeah.
period of time. But I didn't want to do it long term. But since I've been on this journey, this is where I am, and actually I'm loving it, and I know it's a path that God carved out for me because doors are still opening for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I do recall when I first heard about you, met you through Gina, that she
Mhm.
was saying, this is someone who didn't even want to write. And then now, and so I'm like, okay, we about 8 novels in now. And it's like, okay, this is all from a person who didn't want to write, right? Okay. God has a sense of humor. I would just tell you that.
Man, yes, He does.
Now, let me ask you, had you ever thought that you would be 7 or 8 novels in within just a few years?
Not at all. Not at all. Because I started this journey in 2020, late 2020. October actually is when I started writing my first book, Then Came You. And from there, it's just been nonstop. And so what I told God when I finally gave in was that if He kept downloading, I would keep writing. So He keeps giving me these story ideas. So I've got to keep writing. He kept up this end of the bargain. I got to keep up mine.
You are making them bargains, and okay, Lord, if you do this, I'll do that. And even like, I did say I would do it. Okay, Jesus.
Right.
That's amazing. I want to ask you something else, but let me hop right over here to individuals that are on, and I appreciate you coming in. Those of you that have shared, that are going to share. Pastor Pam, thank you. That's my beautiful friend
Hi,
from
Pastor Pam.
Nevada.
We're in the same neck of the woods. I'm in Arizona.
That's right. That's right. Not too far. So thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. And Tiffany has joined us. She says, hey, everyone.
Hey, Tiffany. I've got a Tiffany. She spells hers with an I, though. Tiffani. I wanted to
Really?
be different. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Big Sister Lily, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you.
Hey, Lily.
Michelle Casey, it's my good girlfriend. We just had her
Hey,
on
Michelle.
a few a few weeks ago. And Wendy Smith King, that's another good friend of mine. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate all of you for coming in. Oh yeah, Pastor Pam said, "Yep, next door to me." That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I took that drive to Nevada, to Las Vegas for the DAG Awards through the mountains.
Yes.
I will never do that ever again.
Right. Was it too scary? What?
Yes. It was beautiful. Oh my gosh. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I took pictures the whole ride. Well, no, I took picture part of the ride because I closed my eyes on some of it. Driving through those mountains, that's no joke. No joke. And I can't do it again.
Wow. So obviously, if you were closing your eyes, your husband was driving.
Yes. And poor man, yes, he was driving and he loves to drive. But because and my mom was in the back seat, so he couldn't see her, but she was nervous too. But because of us, he didn't drive through like he would have liked to. I know he would have liked to put the pedal to the metal a little bit more than he did, but we couldn't handle it.
How long did it take?
It was only 5 hours. And that's why I said, well, let's drive. It's only 5 hours, but I didn't realize it was all mountains.
Wow.
But like I said, it was beautiful. It was absolutely, it's a gorgeous drive if you can handle it.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you guys made it there safe and back.
Yes.
So let's talk about this. I mean, we're talking about your novels and you writing. Why did you choose the subject of romance? Now, when God was prodding you to write, did he suggest or tell you to write about that particular subject? Or was that something that maybe was within you that you wanted to explore? Why romance?
Romance has always been in me. I've always been a happily ever after romance type person. And I blame it on my mom because my mom's favorite movie is West Side Story. And the one that came out back, I think it was in the 60s, with Natalie Woods. That was my mom's favorite actor. So that's how I got my name. So romance was thrust upon me. But I've always liked love stories. Even when I was younger and I was reading romance novels. And the idea, I woke up one morning with the idea for Then Came You. Again, I didn't know how to develop the characters because I didn't know about writing like that. I just knew about writing the thoughts in my head, which actually is all that I'm doing with these books. But I didn't know about character development. So the female character, I kind of based her on me. She's a photographer. And the male character, somewhat my husband, because we met at the post office. So the male character in that book is a mail carrier. So I just decided once I got the idea of these two people, the story just started developing little by little, day by day. It started developing. And after a while, like I said, it wouldn't go away. The idea wouldn't go away. So that's when I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna go sit down and I'm gonna write this and see. And it just flowed so effortlessly, which was blowing my mind. I was finished with the story in about 3 months, which I don't hear a lot of people say that. And I don't say that to brag on myself because I take no credit for any of this. God is using me to do it, but I'm loving the journey. It's great coming up with these characters. The story then, To Be Loved by Blue, that's in a town that I created called Jasperville. And so that's become a series now. Actually, To Be Loved by Blue is the second book in the series. So the one I'm writing now is the third book in the series. And so, yeah, so I'm still, this is still all new and exciting to me. So I'm coming up with all these ideas, and I love that I find as I'm writing the story, these secondary characters jump up and say, hey, write about me next. And so that's what I do.
Your characters be talking to you, huh?
Yes, they wake me up in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock. I'm like, I'm trying to go back to sleep, Jabari. I don't want to talk about what you and Shannon gonna do next, what your date gonna be like.
Wow. So you really get into this. That's good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is different. You know, when you're talking about novels and maybe series or, continuing the storyline, from one book to the other. I can see how that can happen. So obviously your mind keeps going. It keeps going.
Yes, it does. It really does.
Okay. All right. So you've told me why the subject of romance is what you write about. What do you hope to get across to individuals when you're writing about romance? What is like your ultimate goal or your main purpose in writing about this particular subject?
So I have encountered people at various events where I'm selling my books, and they say things like, I don't believe in love. I don't do love. I'm not in love anymore. And that hurts my heart because you got to love somebody. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need love. God is love. How do you reject love? So, this, like I say, this is my way of injecting love back
Okay.
into people's lives, whether they want to believe in it or not. But just read about it. I hope that I'm planting the seed of romance for
Yeah.
people. You know what I'm saying? So, and there it is all fiction. These are all made up characters. Because I have people to have asked me if these are real characters. No, they're not real characters. One person may be based on 75 people I've met in my life. Because I may pick a little piece. Oh, this person cocked their eye like this, or this person slurs their words, or something to that effect. That's how
Okay.
I create my characters. So they're not based on any one person particularly. But in the first book, Shannon and her sisters Anaya, the closest they come to real people are me and my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Never knew it. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I didn't know that. But that's interesting. I love your response to why romance, and why you think that it would help other individuals. Pastor Pam says here it's because people don't know what love is. That's why
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're penning these novels about romance, that's something that can help them along the way, and let them know, like you said, I love how you said it. Everybody needs love. God is love.
Absolutely.
Those are simple yet profound statements, which is so true. We will probably be really surprised how many people. I mean, you've come across those in maybe different events that you've been at, but how many people overall feel that way, um,
Absolutely.
or maybe feel that they just don't. Either they've been hurt, they don't want to love anymore, or whatever.
Right.
um,
Right.
we can do whatever we can to help them, to get back on the track of finding, receiving, accepting love. Because some people
Yes.
still have those barriers up, those walls, and
Right.
they don't
Right.
want nothing to
Right.
do with it. So
And some
I
of the
applaud.
characters in my book have those boundaries and those walls built up. So if they read the book, and they may be able to identify with some of those situations and see that they can let those barriers down and give love another chance.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now, do you find more women than men that say that, or vice versa, or
No, mostly women. I get it mostly from women. My target audience is women because I have found very few men that get into romance. I would love to have more men get into it, but since I've been writing, I've only encountered 3 men that actually have bought my books for themselves.
oh, okay, that's interesting. And if I know Natalie's going to change that narrative.
Definitely gonna try.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Um, I asked you this earlier, but I wanted to mention, I thought you were going to say that you got into romance because you used to read like those Harlequin romance novels. Honey, I was a Harlequin romance novel reader, okay? So I thought maybe that's.
I did read Harlequin romance as well, but they were little too much for me. I didn't really care for them like that. So I
Okay.
read other romance novels. But yeah,
Mm.
like I said, I've always loved romance. And with my mom being a romantic, my mom we watch movies and she just cry and cry.
Oh, I like her. That's me. All the way. Look, and sometimes whether it's a movie or a TV series or something, I'm all in it. I promise you. I don't know why I put myself in it like that. I don't. Do you
And
do that?
that's what I want for my stories. And I have had people who have told me, "Oh, I felt that person. I felt their emotions." One girl she's read all my books. She follows me and she's read all my books. And the first series, the first Then Came You series, when she ended it, she texted me and she was like, "I feel like I've lost my friends. I need you to write some more," because she connected so well with the characters.
Okay. Okay. That's a good thing.
That's
That's really a good
awesome.
thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
This is not in my list of questions, but I do want to ask you. I had a guest on last week, and I think you may have watched her, Monique Foltz.
Hmm.
She wrote a book, well, that was mainly talking about her experience in the foster care system and how, it affected her life. And so it's in print now, but now it is going to, um, her next step is a stage play.
That's
Have
awesome.
you have you been thinking about anything to that effect with your book, stage play or movies or whatever?
Yeah,
Um,
I actually have. I have to sit down and really get into it and research it again. That's one of those arenas that I don't know anything about. So I
right.
know, whereas I've learned how to write a novel format and all those type of things, I don't know how to format a stage play in writing. So I have to research, maybe find somebody that does, pay somebody to do it for me. So
Okay.
yeah, but it's definitely something that I'm looking into. I think a couple of these stories that I have will really hit well
Hmm.
on screen or as a play.
Yes, yeah, that's why I asked. Because I really think that is something that I think it's something you should look into. So, I mean, you
Yeah.
go where the Lord leads, of course. Um,
Hmm.
and hopefully it'll manifest in that aspect. So let's jump into talking about this mini book tour. You have a lot of things coming up, a lot of things going on, and I love it because when you write something or write a book and get it out, it's a lot of you know footwork. It's a lot that we have to do, to even keep
Yes.
ourselves relevant.
Right.
And you're out doing something great now. You want to let's talk about this. What you have going on because you sent me I don't know how many different events you had going on. So let's let's talk about. Oh, you know what? Before we go into that, I see something. Somebody gave a comment. Pastor Pam says, check your local library. There's in Nevada offers classes on how to write screenplays.
Okay. I
That's
will definitely look into that. Thank you.
that's
Thank
good
you.
information. Thank you for posting that. I appreciate
Yes.
that. She does as well. Thanks, Janice, for coming in, for liking and
Thank you,
sharing. We
Denise.
appreciate it. Okay, so all right, I don't. Yeah, let's just talk about it. I'm gonna try and pull up um, these pictures of these flyers that you have going on. It seems like every time I look at your posts, you got something else going on, and so you just got a book tour that's going on. And now, is this specifically focused on one book or all your books?
This
Let me
is
ask that first.
this I will be exhibiting all of my books at these
Okay.
because they're book fairs. So the first one that's coming up in a couple of weeks is called Meet Black Authors Meet and Greet. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's all African American authors, and I will have all 7 of my books there. Um, and it's February 24th is the date. So if you're in Phoenix
Okay.
and you can get there, come out, check out all of our African American authors out there. It's going to be a great time. In May, I'll be
Yeah.
okay. It's called the Black Ink Book Festival. That's going to be in New Orleans. I'm looking forward to that. I get to travel, and that's what made me. That's what made me call it my mini book tour because
Okay. Okay.
I feel like I've arrived. I'm traveling with my books now. But that one is May 11th.
Great.
It's in New Orleans. Like I said, it's called the Black Ink Book Festival. I'm looking forward to that one. And then in November here in Phoenix, there's another book fair called Books in the Desert. And that one is
Oh.
for romance authors. So I'm looking forward to
Okay.
that one. That one, I would like to see more African American authors sign up for that one. I went to it last year, and there wasn't a lot of African American
Hmm.
presence. Well, I'm getting tongue tied now. But I would love to see more of us to attend that particular one. But I'll be in the house either way, and that one is
Right.
November 2nd.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you though, because I was going to ask, is this like your first time doing like all these events at once, or did you have other tours before this year?
No, I've done different vendor events where I've set up my books. The only thing with those, I've done pretty well, but this year I decided I wanted to get more into my audience, to the reading audience. The vendor events, there are a lot of vendors there, so it's kind of more like a hodgepodge of
Yeah.
vendors, and everybody's there for different things. I wanted to get more into the arena of readers, of people who are
Hmm.
actually looking for books to read. And
Yeah.
so this year last year I did the research, and so I found these three that I wanted to participate in for this
Okay.
year.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Oh my goodness, you talking about a tour? When my book came out in August of 22, 22. We're in the new year now. So when my book came out, I promise you, every month I was doing something, sometimes twice a month, whether it was
Hmm.
a book fair or a vendor event. And I'm not even gonna tell you a lie. By the time December 31st came, I was exhausted and I was glad it was the end of the year.
That's it. That's all.
So I can understand you, but I love how you said you want to focus more on the readers and, trying to get, connected more with your audience,
Exactly.
which is what we need to do, if we're trying to push these
Right.
books out. Because you want to, kind of get an idea of what they're thinking, and then I'm sure it'll help you going forward with your writing, with writing more, because I'm sure you can probably, you think you'll have an opportunity to sit down and chat with them though, and maybe kind of get their thoughts to help you in your future writing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will talk to anybody about any ideas they have, suggestions that they have, because I'm still learning. I'm still
Yeah,
learning. And one
yeah.
of the things about learning is learning this whole process is I've also started a workshop called From Pen to Publish, The Road to Self-Publishing. And I do this workshop to teach writers how to become self-published authors.
Yeah.
And I started it last year. I did 2 workshops last year, and I just did one last month.
Okay.
Um, one young lady has already published her book, who's come through my workshop. She's published her book. Yay, Shayna.
Hey, Shayna.
Um, and I have 2 other ladies who are on the verge. They ran into a couple of snags, so I'm working with them to get through that. And then the workshop that I had last month was amazing, and a couple of people didn't make it, so they want me to do another one. So I'm doing another one March 3rd, and it is a
Okay.
virtual event. And anybody that's interested in learning the self-publishing process can go to my website to sign up for the workshop. It's $74.99. It is going to go up to $99.99 next month, so catch it while it's
Catch
at
it.
just cheaper price. But
Catch it
it
while
goes
it's hot.
right. But I will give you step-by-step process in how to self-publish your book, including marketing tips, how to do a creative cover, finding your target audience, all of those types of things.
I love it. And I'm glad you segued into that because that was going to be my next question to talk to you about um, your workshops. Why do you think it's so important for you to, reach out to try and help someone else to self-publish? Why self-publish? Why are we pushing that? Why is that so important?
So with self-publishing, through my research, for me, it's best because I have control over my manuscript and how it goes out. With traditional publishing, they give you deadlines, they set everything for you. You've got to get a literary agent. By the time they get your manuscript they may take it right away to a publishing company, but a publishing company may not get to it for 2 or 3 years. And then at
Right.
that point, they could say, nah, this is not what we want to do. Now you're back to square one. Whereas with self-publishing, you go through the process and you set your own timelines and deadlines.
Mhm.
I've self-published 7 books in 3 years. I don't believe that would have been possible going through a traditional publisher. And self-publishing also allows you to keep more of your royalties than traditional publishing. Now
Mhm.
there are pros and cons to both. And with self-publishing, it's all on you. So the marketing, formatting the book, finding editors, all that's on me. But I've been blessed that it's all worked out to this point.
That's wonderful. I love that. I love that. Because you can have. I mean, there are various ways to publish your book. So
Mhm.
your focus is on that self publishing, and thanks for sharing that. The advantages,
Sure.
of doing that. There is a question. Oh yeah, there's a question. Let me. Hey, Apostle Dion, thanks for coming in. It says self publishing worked out fantastic for me. Yeah, that's
Good.
good stuff. That's good
Yeah.
stuff. He's got a great book out that he needs to push more. The Circuit. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, Dion, get on it.
push that book. Push that book. And Pastor Pam has here: are the workshops only in person, or are they workshops remotely as well?
Yeah, no, they're all virtual. It's a
Oh, they're
virtual
all
one.
virtual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Okay.
very first one I did was in person, but with COVID and the constant scares, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I decided to just keep it virtual, and it allows me to reach out further to people other than people that's in my immediate area.
Love it. I love it. That's good, though. That's just really good. Pastor Pam says wonderful. So thanks for answering that question for her.
Absolutely.
Um, you said something earlier when you mentioned about the one particular book fair. I think it's Books in the Desert. You
Yes.
said that you wish there were more um, Blacks, African Americans there.
Hmm.
With this being, of course, Black History Month, we're kind of focusing in on why do you think that's so important, or talk about why you want to see more of us. Is it you want to see more of us in the area of being an author, or in the area of reading books, or what was your thought process when you said you wanted to see more Blacks at that particular event?
Well, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Both uh, more African American authors because we're out there. There are a lot of African American authors out there, and but we get stuck because we don't know what's out there. Um, Also, to get more African Americans to read, we have the stigma that we don't read. I hate that saying that if you want to hide information from a Black person, put it in a book.
Put it in the
I
book.
hate that with a passion.
I
And
know.
so I want to help push that lie
Hmm.
away. I want that to go away. And the only way that's going to go away is if more African American authors are seen and more African Americans are reading and supporting African American authors.
Yeah. Well, okay. I like that. I like that mentality. Because we do need to push that. It's interesting you should say you don't like that phrase,
Yeah.
because it is said all over the place. Okay, I've heard
Yep.
that from when I was a youngster,
Mm-hmm.
and I really ain't young at all right now. But anyway,
I'll say
but
that.
I've
Yeah.
heard that. And it almost could now, I know the context of why some people say it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because they're really trying to push. Some of them are trying to push us to read, or to say, you know what, you need to really, really check this out. Go read a book, go do this, go do some research. Um, but then on the other hand, some people can take it as like, yeah, no, we don't read, and I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
catch
Exactly.
22 there. But we do need to encourage each other. I always say, and I didn't learn this until after I wrote my book, everybody has a book inside of them. I've
Yes.
heard it said before, but it didn't become reality to me
Mm-hmm.
until I wrote it.
Same
because
here.
one thing I always tell people, our journey in life is not for ourselves alone. It's
Right.
for somebody else. So whether it is an autobiography, a biography, or whatever, we all have a book in us. We have a
Exactly.
book inside of us that we can write down, pen, and tell about it. It's not that, authors are better than anybody else or anything like that, but we all have a book, whether we want to tell it, and that's a different story. Whether we want to talk
Right.
about it, that's a different story. But we do have it inside of us. And my publisher, the one that I went through, I thank God for her. I continue to thank God for her, Kristen Harris, Scribe Tribe Publishing. That's who I went through. And I thank God that I did not have nightmarish uh, publishing issues.
Yeah.
With her, I think I'm grateful to God for that. You had the normal, if you're, I think when I was trying to get my books in time for my book signing, and Amazon messed that up, but then it had nothing to do with the publishing,
Mhm.
but I'm grateful to that. So, and honestly, I was thinking of self-publishing. I really was. But by the time, and you've heard this before, by the time I got through writing the content of my book, I had spent so much energy, I just didn't
Yeah.
have any left
Yeah.
because
And
of
it's a lot. It is a lot self-publishing. The process,
yeah.
it takes a lot of time and effort, and especially if something my biggest drawback with self-publishing is having to format. And
Oh,
I'm going to conquer formatting if it kills me. but
okay. Okay.
but I wouldn't do it any other way. At least at this point, I wouldn't do it any other way.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And because when I started thinking about all the things, gotta get an ISBN, gotta do this, da 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 da, I'm like, nope. You have can you take my book and publish my book? And they did everything. The company, publishing companies, did everything for me. I didn't have to worry about anything, and even uploading it to Amazon and all of that and different things, and
Nice.
allowing me to have my landing page, where they can purchase my book or whatever. It was and God knew that I needed that help. He knew,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, 'cause just like you said earlier, you like, I don't type. You were like, I don't type. I don't
Right.
do that stuff. So it's like,
And that's
okay,
what I don't I push self-publishing, but I know it's not for everybody. And I'm
hmm
okay with that. You know,
right,
and so, and something I wanted to go back to, you were talking about everyone has a book inside of them. And I think when people hear that, they think it has to be this big, thick novel. But there are other books that people can get out. You can do a journal, which is
yes,
just create a cover and you got lines. You can do coloring books. You can do words of inspiration. So there are other books that people have inside of them that doesn't have to equate to a 500-page novel.
right, right, exactly. Because I'm telling you, those novels you wrote, those are some big books. So I was looking, I was like, I don't know if I could have been
My
everyone.
sister-in-law, my sister-in-law asked me the other day because she's starting to write a cookbook, and she looked at
Oh,
me and she said, "How?" I was like, "How what? How do you write all those words?" She said, "I'm struggling, and I already have the recipes. I just have to put them on the page." And I thought
yeah,
it just flows. It just flows,
yeah.
and I'm grateful for it.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, it does flow. And if it's, something that God wants you to get out, he's gonna give it to you. He's definitely gonna give it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Pastor Pam says yes and amen. Brandy says there is a book inside. Thanks for coming in, Brandy. There is a book inside of all of us. We just need the right push, resources, avenues to properly manifest it. I totally,
Absolutely.
totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
what you're doing with your workshops and different ones. Tiffany Green is on. She's another individual that helps people with their books and getting
Awesome.
them to self-publish. I mean, I know of course, you get into a certain area, and then you start, becoming associated with individuals or whatever. And so because I've become an author, I'm starting to learn, individuals and what they are capable of, what they can do, handle, the resources, as Brandy put it, avenues, which I think is a good thing. Would you encourage children to write, young people to
Absolutely.
write? Tell me why.
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
Because they have stories too. I had my first workshop. I had a 9-year-old attend my workshop with her mom, and she's currently working on her book now. So, and I actually, a girlfriend of mine, her daughter was 9 when she published her first book, and it's a really good book. So, yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely encourage children to write books. Absolutely.
Okay. I love that. And it kind of gives them a little bit of important status, if you will, or,
Absolutely. Yes, it does.
yeah, kind of motivate them. And then you don't know what's going to come out of that,
Right.
eventually for them. Will they go on to become a serial novelist such as yourself, or will it be a one-time thing? You just don't know where that path will lead. So I'm glad you're encouraging that. I did a Sash Talk discussion today about handwriting, and I saw that you
Yes.
commented on it. And I think that is so important, the actual act of writing,
Yes.
as opposed to, because we can all day long, hey Siri, do this for me, hey that, whatever. And it's so convenient, but we don't realize what that actual handwriting will do for us.
It's a skill. It's a
It is.
skill. And we're giving technology, allowing technology to take away all of our skills.
Yep. And we want to activate that brain development in children, because that's what's going to help them.
Right.
I don't know if you recall this. It wasn't that long ago where there was a I don't want to say controversy, but they were talking about handwriting as opposed to what would they say? Oh, cursive writing as opposed to
Print.
yeah. And there was a debate about it. And I'm like, okay, some people were saying that they didn't necessarily want to teach their children to do cursive writing or it to be taught to them, which I'm not sure why.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know what the
Because
mentality was, but all of it is still important.
Yeah.
Possibly says he remembers that. Go ahead.
we need to teach them to
Yeah,
write
that's
they have to sign documents. If you don't sign, you don't know how to write in cursive, you can't sign your documents, legal documents. They require signatures, which is cursive.
yeah.
So yeah, I never understood why that was even an
Yeah.
option to not teach children to write in cursive.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I don't get it. We still
that's crazy.
need those skills to be developed, manifest. Like you said, you're going to need it. I know sometimes, I've seen posts on social media and someone said, I still don't need that trigonometry after they've grown up or whatever, the math
I
or
agree
whatever
with
that they
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I agree with it too. But anyway, but those simple life skills of the handwriting, the cursive writing, that people don't realize that is going to promote, good mental health. It's going to activate, those brain waves, if you will, and get people to thinking,
Mhm.
because if you have
Hand-eye coordination, motor
there it is.
skills, all of that.
Yeah, because if you have something else doing it for you, you're not doing it. You're
Absolutely.
not doing it. And
And
so
when you
then
need it, you won't know how.
that's true. That is true. That is so true. But yeah, I'm glad that you would encourage young people to write or whatever, and just encourage people to write in general. Now, do you have people that come into your workshops that say, okay, I've heard your talk about self-publishing, and then they were like, no, I'm not going to do self-publishing. I'm going to go another route. Do you have people that do that?
I have not encountered that, but I mean, I'm okay with that if that's your choice. Because again, self-publishing is not for everybody. Just like
Yeah.
traditional publishing is not for me. But I will listen to somebody talk about traditional publishing because I
Right.
learn a thing or two.
Yeah, yeah. And then that can kind of help and or enhance what you're doing
Right.
as well. Apostle Dion says handwritten signatures are more authenticated with cursive writing. Okay, well, come on now
Absolutely.
with your research. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah. This is really important and deep. And I think again, we need to teach, our young people, teach that next generation, encourage them. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna move forward. People used to talk when texting used to be when it came really popular, started to become really popular,
Mm.
and I would text, but I would text. I wouldn't do any acronyms or any shorthand. I would write out long, text. I
Me
would write
too.
it out. My friends used to talk about me, girl, you take so long texting. I'm like, that's just me. I didn't, and I would always tell him, I don't want to butcher the English language, so I want to make sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, my brother got on me about that too.
Did he? Did he? So now I'm kind of like in between. I may every once in a while, or
Yeah.
I'll do an emoji or something like that, or a bit more, whatever. But I'm making sure that I am texting, everything right out, and not tearing up the English language, because
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's still important to make sure that we do that. So let's talk about your naysayers,
Okay.
uh, if you have any. How
I
about I say
actually
it like
haven't.
that?
I actually haven't encountered any. The closest I've come to a naysayers, I did have somebody say, "Girl, those sex scenes in your book, what the church people gonna say about it?" And my comment was, they're doing the same things. If they're married and they have children, how do you think the church got full? You know what I'm saying? And so I call them passion scenes for my books because I don't write erotica. It's not
Right.
just down dirty sex. It's actually in the context of love.
Okay.
So that's the closest I've come to naysayers.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. And I'm glad you gave them that answer because yes, um, when we get married, we don't lose that. Oh, never mind. Um, say some of the stuff you're right about. They're doing it.
You're
So,
right.
yeah. But I
They're
love how
publishing
you just
more.
right, right. But I love how you distinguish between, the love and, like you said, you don't do the erotica or the raunchy scenes or writing
Mhm.
about that. And I think people kind of blur those lines,
Yes, they definitely
and
do.
so then they may want to stay away from the romance because they're thinking that it's probably a little bit more than they
Down
can
and
handle.
dirty. Yeah.
Right, right. But
Yeah. And I
Natalie
try
books
to
are not like that.
differentiate mine by telling people that I write contemporary romance.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
Because there
good. That's
is urban romance, there's erotica romance. So yeah, I try to differentiate mine so people know that it's okay to read it. It's not going to blow your socks off.
it's like, and you can still be saved after you read
Still be
it.
saved. My mom read it and my mom said it was okay, and I'm rolling with my mom.
There you go. I love it. I love it. And I'm sure you appreciate her opinion about
Absolutely. I truly do.
it. Now, I must ask you, do you ever doubt yourself or the work that you're doing? And if
All the
so, what do you
time.
do about it? What do you do about it?
I pushed through, and actually just this morning as I was writing on it, working on the one that I going my eighth book, I was sitting here and I'm typing, and again my characters changed something on me, and I was like, that's not where I wanted to go. And I started to get a little frustrated. I was like, you know what? Just stop writing. So because when
Right.
I get to the point that I'm not clear where I wanted to go and I'm not liking it, then I'll stop. Because if I don't like it, I'm not going to put it out because that means the readers aren't going to like it. I don't want to lose readers just because I'm trying to push something out and ahead of time or not take my time and make it right. Some of my
Hmm.
stories I've read scenes in them and I get emotional reading it, and I wrote it. And that's what I want for my readers. I want them to feel those emotions as well. So yeah, when I'm starting to feel like I'm not doing a good job, or I don't like where it's going, I just stop and I take a break and get back to it
Okay.
later.
Okay. Well, as long as you get back to it later.
Yes.
Good stuff. Um, Second or third book in, did you feel that you wanted to stop, or you wanted to keep going to see where this would lead you?
No, I wanted to continue going. I wanted, like I said, the ideas kept rolling, so I couldn't stop. The first one I wrote, Then Came You. That was the very first one. Everybody loved that book. And before I'd finished writing it, the idea for September to Summer, A Principal's Heart, came to mind. So I started writing that. But then people were saying they wanted to know more about the secondary characters for Then Came You. And that's when I started the series. Because I didn't go into this thinking that I would do a series, because I just didn't know how I would follow up with a series. But they were like, well, I wanted to know about the other characters. I wanted to know about Chris. What happened to her? Did she go on a cruise ship? So that's how Love Beyond the Wave came. Then they wanted to know about Zanaya and Bryant. Well, did they get together and what happened with them? So, yeah, so that's how that came about. The series.
Okay. Well, I asked that question because honestly, when you look at romance novels, you almost can't not do a series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just because, I mean, for the simple fact, individuals ask, okay, what happened to this? What happened to that one? I mean, depending upon how the book ends, but then they still want to know, some things.
Right.
So it's almost like you cannot not do a series.
Exactly.
So
and what I've started doing with my second series is, because the ideas for the next book comes along, like I say, those characters stand up and say, hey, write me next. So the last page let's see, Dear Butterfly, Wishes from the Heart is the first one in the Jasperville series. That page, the last page, starts the chapter of To Be Loved by Blue. So I give you a little bit of the next book in the series in that first book. So each book, when you close it, you'll be like, oh, now I got to go find out what happened to that character. So so that's how I continue my series.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you have to keep going. I'm just gonna tell you. I don't know if you ever gonna be able to stop or not, but I say you got to keep going.
That's where I am. I don't see me stopping anytime soon.
Good. But like you said, not with the ideas continually flowing like that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about. I mean, I know you have the book tour. I guess you're going to continue writing books as God gives them to you. Anything else, other projects, events, things going on that you want to share with us on today?
I think we covered it all. I think, like I said, my mini book tour is Black Authors Meet and Greet in Phoenix, February 24th. Black Ink Book Festival, May 11th in New Orleans. And Books in the Desert, November 2nd in Phoenix. And then my workshop, anybody that's interested in learning how to be a self-published author, just hit me up on my website, netsbooks.net, and let's get that book published.
Love it. Okay. I want to see some. I was trying, as you were talking, I was going to try and pull up some of these, and I said that earlier and I never did it. Got talking. That's what happened. I was trying to pull up a few of your flyers, but they can also find your information on your social media accounts, right?
Yes. Natalie R. Murphy, author on Facebook. Natalie R. Murphy, author on Instagram as well. Okay.
All right. So guys, make sure you connect with her, reach out to her on social media, try and keep up with her because she's going fast. She's going fast. Let me see if I can show this one particular this one. I hope I do this right. I want to show everything. Okay, let me know if you see this. Let me know if you see this.
Yes.
Do we see it?
Yes, that's the Black
Okay, so that's the book fair.
Yes, that's going to
And
be
that is
February 24th in Tempe from 1 to 5. Yes.
okay. All right. Let me see if I don't know if I should do it like this. Okay, that's Books in the Desert.
That's
That
Books in
is
the
going to
Desert,
be
November 2nd.
all right. Let me see. Is there something else? Oh,
And that's me the night I won my third Distinguished Authors Guild Award. Whoop, whoop.
I love
Oh,
it. I
wow.
love it. Look, I just had some pictures in here and I wanted to show you guys. But again, her from pen to published self-publishing workshop, she's going to do another one March 2nd. And you guys can reach out to her. You can go to her website. You can go to her social media. I'm sure she's going to post that as well on there again. Let me show that on the screen. From pen to
Yes.
published self-publishing workshop. Okay. And that is virtual. It's a virtual workshop. So you want to hop in on that. Grab this sale before it goes up. It's on
Yes.
sale for
Yes.
$74.99. And I encourage you. This is a beautiful woman of God, and like we said, she wants to help you. Those of you that are thinking about writing, those of you who've already started writing, those of you who have
Yes.
been hesitant about writing, like some of us were, she can encourage you and help you, along the way. She's got a great testimony. So we're glad about what God is doing. There's a question on the floor before I ask my last one of you. Let's see. Pastor Pam says, have you and your husband thought about co-authoring a book together? And that's a great question.
We actually have. We haven't really sat down and ironed it out yet, but yes, we have talked about it.
Mm. And when I tell you this husband of hers, voice, golden voice, okay? I want to say that he is a golden voice. We were able to meet him along with Natalie in November, and he actually hosted. That's the right word. Right? He emceed. He emceed the event, and when he starts, I'm sitting next to Natalie. He starts talking, and he's like, and I said, Natalie, what is your? He was being real silly. But I was serious. I'm like, what does he do? Is he on the news? Is he an anchor somewhere? Golden voice, golden voice. Wonderful, wonderful. And so I think that would be really nice for you all to co-author a book of romance together. That would be really interesting.
I'm going to have him do some of my social media video posts. I'm going to have his voice in the background.
Oh my God, you need to. Okay. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking from November to now what I need him to do, and there's something I need him to do. It just hit me. It just hit me.
I'm sure he'll love it.
Okay, all right. So I'm good. We're gonna make a connection. But thanks for asking that question, Pastor Pam. I think that's a great idea, and as you're encouraging people to write, to self-publish, I just pray that God will continue to bless you in all that you're doing. Final words to encourage those of us who are watching now, who will watch later, whether you want to encourage them in the area of writing or whatever else God gives to you to encourage us on today.
I'm going to steal the phrase of Nike. Just do it. Whatever it is that's in your heart that God has put on your heart to do it. Do it scared. I did it scared. And I'm 7 books in. I've got multiple awards. You can do the same thing. I am no more special than anybody else.
Wow.
I just chose to be obedient. But whatever it is, whether it's writing a book, whether it's singing a song, whether it's raising children, do it, do it, do it.
Just do it. Do it.
Just do
All
it.
right. And like she said, do it scared if you have to, but just do it.
Scared. Yes.
Those are great, great words, great encouraging words. You guys, thank you so much. Well, I'm so glad that everybody has joined us on today, talking with my beautiful friend and award-winning novelist, Natalie Romance Junkie Murphy.
Yes, ma'am. Romance junkie through and through.
Romance junkie. You gotta please go to her website. You guys, please check her out. Purchase those books. Let me see if I can put it on the screen again to support her. Sure, find out about her upcoming events. Purchase her books. Please visit her website at natsbooks.net. natsbooks.net. Natalie Murphy, again, is her name, and she has joined us on today. Now, those of you who are just now joining us and didn't hear at the beginning, I had Natalie to come on today because we were trying to, we had to reschedule my guest that was scheduled for today's segment. And the guest happens to be her sister. And I can't wait to highlight her and what she's doing. She's doing a great work. I was able to network with her, and she's got a podcast that's coming out. I was able to be on her podcast with her. But we can't wait, to have her on to introduce her to you all. And so Natalie stepped in on today, and I'm glad she did because I wanted to have her back on to talk about all that she's doing. And if you look in the background of her background, you will see her book covers that are in the background, which I absolutely love. I love that background for you.
Thank you.
But she's doing great things. Self-publishing, writer, novelist, award-winning novelist Natalie R. Murphy joined us on today, and I'm so glad and grateful you did. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So we're gonna make our connection. Yes, definitely. And honey, I bid you Godspeed on everything you're doing on this mini book tour and beyond. All right, guys. And as she's exiting on today, I'll keep this up so you guys can make sure to go to her website, natsbooks.net, to make sure you support her on today. I do want to thank each of you for joining me on today, for your input, your comments, your questions. Those of you that have liked and shared and tagged individuals in on today, I thank you. I thank you for joining us on today and for listening in. Thank you, Pastor Pam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming in. Next week, now we know that February is the Black History Month. We know that it is Love Month as well. We just talked about love, didn't we, right? Romance, love. So I'm going to be featuring individuals throughout this month, gearing towards either one of those particular or both of those subjects. So next week, we're going to have a husband and wife team on. It's Love Day with the Reeds. Nicole and Damon Reed will be on next week. And I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. That it will be, of course, Valentine's Day, as many of you are recognizing it. But we are going to talk with this wonderful couple and have them encourage you because they're doing some great things that we want to highlight here on Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet. So with that in mind, I want you to take a look at this promo for next week, and we will see you soon.
On the next session of Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with